protection. We don't own all of our content. You might have heard that we just launched all these great video rentals, and we got to make sure that our content's secure. And so Flash has a protocol for this, our TMPE, that's like built in, easy to do, and HTML5 doesn't have an accepted standard for this yet. After that, there's sort of full screen. When I'm watching my favorite cat videos, one thing that's really important is I want them full screen and in HD. And we don't really have an API to do this yet. WebKit does have something in its nightlies, and the code for that's actually pretty simple. It works pretty well. So it looks a little bit like this. You can grab any element. So in our case, we'd grab our video player, and we would request that it goes to full screen. And then once it gets triggered, we can do whatever we want with it, make it larger, change our buttons, and so forth. And so eventually, because this is in WebKit, this will be available in Chrome, hopefully very soon. Another thing that's important is camera and microphone access. A lot of our users come to YouTube and they just want to film talking to the millions of viewers right there. And HTML5 doesn't have this yet, but Flash, it's there. Another important thing is with Flash, it's pretty much it's a device that works HTML5, we actually have to support two different formats. We have H.264 and WebApp. And so browsers, some browsers will support both. At the moment, Chrome will support both, but then you get browsers like Firefox, which will only support WebApp, and IE, which will only support H.264. Now, we have all of our videos are encoded in H.264, and most of them are in WebM at the moment, but it's taken a while because it's such a large database to get through and make all these additional encodings. So now, why is HTML5 so great? And we've got this open source technology, open source browsers, players, and codecs, which really allows for some great development in the space and making it really fast-paced and changing really quickly. It also should have lower latency when we're watching these videos. We don't have to start up this plugin. It's just native in the browser. It should be a lot faster. And this is really evident in the iframe, which I'll show later. And so we're hoping for better performance with these different encodings. We're hoping to get better performance for the videos, and just fidelity. It works smoother without worrying about our code screwing up the video playback. Another great thing is accessibility. And there's a few other accessibility talks here that go into some really detailed stuff here. One of the talks that happened earlier, which was great, was all about captions. And I really like having captions on my cat videos. And this is one of my favorite comic strips there. But one of the features that's important to me is actually navigating in the browser. And because it's native, I can just tab around in the page. So let me show you a quick demo. So this is this is YouTube, and I got the Flash player here, and I start tabbing around the page, and eventually I'm trying to get into the player, but I just sort of jump below it, and my tab focus is down here at the moment, and I can't get into the player. But if I click my mouse in it, I'll give focus to the player, and then I can tab around and use the controls, but I'm trapped. I can't get outside. I can't start to interact with the rest of the page again. One of the great things that's great about HTML5 is I can tab around on the page, and then I can jump right into the player, and I can use my keyboard to start playing the video. And then if I want to move on to the rest of the page, I can just continue to tab around, and I'm out interacting with the page again. And so different user agents are going to have to build APIs for having this special video handling for the video tag, but then screen readers, any screen reader you have, will be able to access that, and you'll have accessible videos. So next thing I want to talk about is deviceability, and that's basically what I mean by that is where do these platforms live? Where can you watch Flash videos, and where can you watch HTML5 videos? And at the moment, when we look at our HTML5 capable browsers, we've got just under 40% of a browser usage is HTML5 capable. Chrome is really kicking butt in this space as well. And a very small percentage of this is mobile. So the world kind of looks like this. There's all these places that support Flash. a good chunk that also support HTML5, and this tiny sliver, and this is exaggerated a little bit, that only do HTML5. And that's mostly iPhone and iPad. There's a few other random things that are in there as well. But then what's really interesting is when you look at actual usage of people who are getting access to our APIs, they're playing videos, it's actually kind of just opposite. Most of those places are actually on devices. So that's like really great that we need HTML5 support. So we were asking why HTML5. It's really about when we should be using HTML5, because we clearly see that it's needed in many places. So our first primary goal about building this player was we wanted to recover playbacks that would have been lost without Flash. And so our solution for this, to make it really easy, was to have this iframe embed. So, like we showed earlier, the code for it's very simple. You just plop in the video ID, and you're good to go without having to worry about anything. And so this has, great advantages because it gives our user HTML5 or Flash based on the device and the user's preferences. It allows for so much better mobile support, and it gives us this just works experience. So just a little bit about how you would get the HTML5 player. At the moment, you can opt in to getting the player, and that's if you go to youtube.com/HTML5, you can join the experiment. And if you're trying to view these videos on a device that doesn't support Flash, you'll also be opted in automatically. And so first thing we do is we check support HTML5. And the code for that's pretty simple. We just create a video tag, and we see